got it. Yo.
I am an angel.
You're my angel. You're my darling angel.
Yo, man, Shaggy is he wrote the one that's just like, yo, I'm cheating on you. You caught me, but it still wasn't me, and I deny it.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, and then like later on, he like has that darling angel song where he's like, I want to grow old with you and shit. Yeah. Do you think it's the same girl? Do you think he's
hell yeah, it was his wife, man.
Oh yeah.
Shaggy just gave us his saga, the Shaggy saga of his marriage, the ups and downs of the Shaggy marriage, the Shaggy family.
Yo, I'm here for it.
Yeah, he's not even that Shaggy. He's a very clean cut Jamaican man.
Yeah, it's like a little oxymoron maybe there.
It's a lie.
Yeah, like his whole life.
His whole life's a lie. It wasn't me though. It wasn't him. It wasn't him.
I still choose to believe it wasn't.
It wasn't him. How you doing, bro?
Illin. I'm out there on the dock. I'm in Sydney right now.
Hell yeah. I'm just flowing down the Fraser River, man.
In an inner tube?
In a fucking tube. You ever fucking get so whacked out on Benadryl that you just fucking take all your clothes off and run to the Fraser River?
Just wake up.
You ever fucking rail so much daytime medicine that you fucking climb the Patello Bridge and fucking just dive right in?
Gracefully swan dive off that shit? Yeah.
That's the vibes I'm doing, man. I got the cold.
Yeah, our man's sick
got
today.
The sniffles. Hell yeah.
Got a nice haircut though. Look at you.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I know, dude. That fucking broccoli cut I was rocking forever.
A broccoli cut? Yo, what do you
I had the fucking curls. Like I had like the the youth right now.
Oh, the Island Boys?
The Island Boys. I love those guys, man. I love that song. That's an earworm.
Our lovable freaks from Miami.
Yeah. Island Boys. Sometimes an earworm comes up and people collectively just, they all agree. It's fucked up because they're these little weird goblins, but it just works, man. Something works.
Did they actually release a song? Because I've only seen a clip of them singing in the pool, like raw dog in it.
Yeah. Raw dog in it in the pool.
Yeah.
Are they twins or are they brothers?
I think they're fraternal twins.
Shout out to fraternal
It's funny that we're
twins,
even talking about them.
Yeah,
like I was telling you, like I had seen that pop up my timeline tons, and I'm like, I refuse. I will not click. And then I just had to eventually. It wears you down. You're right. It does wear you down.
It wears you down.
Now I'm an island boy.
Island boy. Good for them, man.
Did you? I think it felt like you wanted to address this Rust Alec Baldwin situation, but it might be a little like old school now. But it's always pertinent,
It's always pertinent, man. This crazy thing. Yeah. It's fucking wild, bro. There's so much shit coming out now. Alec Baldwin shooting somebody on set. Like when I first heard about it, it seems like ages ago. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the way the internet moves, it's like that's old news now. Now Kanye West has done an interview, so
yeah,
we're all talking about that now.
We're all talking about everything. Everything, man. I don't know, dude. I think it's crazy. Like this whole, if people aren't aware, like IATSIE, the union, the International Association of Stage and Theater Entertainment. I think I got it right.
That's about close.
It's basically all the technicians on movie sets and live shows. Everybody's not an actor or drives a truck. Is basic or like a Teamster is basically an IATSIE. It's a huge union, and in the States, which
you are a part of.
I'm a part of. I'm a proud member. I got my pin right over there in my drawer.
Marcus, for those that don't know, is a grip. He carries in the light bounces and the stands and all this stuff, and we're
shadow benders.
Job. Yeah,
I thought about it very interestingly yesterday when I was on set. I was like, we should call ourselves shadow benders.
That's true. Yeah,
because we bend shadows, dude, and diffuse light. We do a lot of shit. I mean, like we're basically like the heavy lifters of the cinematographer. So like, shit doesn't get done. Like fucking, we're the guys pushing the big cranes on set and the big dollies for the cameras. Like the camera shit doesn't get moved. Like and light doesn't get bounced unless we're there fucking rigging shit up. So we're super important.
Would it be like sick to see in like the credits instead of grips it said shadow
benders?
Shadow bouncer? Yeah.
I am a shadow bender.
My father. What do you do for work? I'm a shadow bender.
I'm a shadow bender from the Dark Islands. That sounds like a Game of Thrones shit. Yeah, the Isle of Shadow Benders.
Like when I roll up on set or whatever, it's like, oh, there's the Shadow Benders. You guys all come in on set.
You're the smoke guy. What do they call the special effects? The smoke eaters. The smoke eaters.
I'm into
the shadow benders.
Oh hell yeah! This is a better world, dude.
Yeah.
But sorry to cut you off. What are you saying? You're saying something.
No,
about
so
IATSIE.
IATSIE's we don't have a contract negotiated. The big fucking companies, the big new media, along with the other regular companies, production companies like Warner Brothers and fucking NBC and all these, they've been trying to fuck us basically on our contracts.
Like underpay you for more work.
Underpaid. Yeah. Basically, it's a tactic that governments and corporations do where they stall union negotiations until we're so bent out of shape and tired that we just say yes.
Yeah.
So and a lot of this
union. That's exactly. Probably a lot of union.
It's a lot of union
negotiations.
And for us, it's a lot of it's addressing unsafe work. We know film. It's a go, rush. Right now, there's so much productions being made. The top down aspect of it, they like the producers are really just rushing through and don't give a shit about the health and safety of the crew members. I mean, it's always kind of been like that, but people are just like, this is ridiculous. Like we also
on average,
we also used to get paid a lot more, right? So now it's just kind of like we're not working fucking 18-hour days with fucking 6-hour turnarounds between days, 6 hours to drive home and sleep, and like it's dangerous.
Come back and do it again. Yeah.
So this has already been brewing. And then 2 weeks ago, we found out that Alec Baldwin shot somebody on set, literally killed another person on an unsafe set,
which was shocking to hear. But then when you start to hear everything around it, you're like, that does make sense now.
It all unraveled. That you find out that the union, the IATSIE camera people, quit 6 hours prior because it was unsafe.
Yeah, they walked off set because it was unsafe. What was it else? They were withholding money.
They're withholding money. Yeah,
they're shooting 3 hours. Yeah, like 3 hours outside of where they lived, I think, and then they refused to pay for hotel rooms. So that was on the table. Like just the worst conditions you're speaking of, basically. Exactly. In reality.
So it was all this like anxiety and reasons why people are threatening to strike, and then that fucking manifests into an unsafe production, resulting in somebody dying, one person being injured, and one person, the DOP, Halyna Hutchins, literally getting shot by the lead actor, who's also a producer. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, do you know what I mean? Like
partly his fault, that they're in that situation.
Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong, like I never like, I mean, I don't think it's be like, oh, I told you so, Alec Baldwin, or like, hey. Like taking somebody's life accidentally. Like we all know he never meant to fucking shoot somebody. Yeah. And he's not solely responsible.
And that's not even the example that you want to be like, see, it is unsafe. It's like, maybe if someone was injured slightly, but not life-threateningly, it might be like, see, look, that's bad. But to actually lose a life is not good.
It's wild. And all these other things came out. Like the person, like the props person and the armorer was basically 24. She shouldn't have been being
youngin.
They should have had an armorer. Role. And then they had a secondary armorer on set with her, but they were both very like, there was two people who were in charge of the guns. But
so what's an armorer for those that don't know?
An armorer is a person in the props department whose specific job it is to make sure that the handling of live rounds, which in film is never an actual bullet, a live round is always a blank, but it can still kill you. It still issues out projectiles.
Like a blank is basically the bullet shell with gunpowder in it, and then another thing like plastic or cotton or some kind of filler thing to kind of create a flame muzzle when it shoots. But it's not like an actual projectile. Yeah, that's what a blank is. Just so people are like, what is a blank? Yeah, like it does have a bit of stuff in the front of it, and things do come out, and it is still a lethal weapon, but it's not a bullet per se. It's just like something that will like ignite so that when it shoots the front of the gun, you see a bit of a flame, like a flash. Yeah.
So that's already kind of an unsafe thing. But what Hollywood has done in the past is that, you have an armorer who's specifically trained and whose job it is to make sure that the guns being used on set are completely handled correctly and like 100% safe before they're given to the actor, before they're shot at cast or they're shot at background or they're just in general. Like there's stories of people just going in and like I think it was on Passchendaele, the armorer on Passchendaele ended up having to stop the set. Passchendaele is a giant World War I movie. It's based off this battle that happened in the First World War. Canada was part of it, blah blah blah. So they had all these guns, and basically they had so many guns that they were like, well, I don't think it's safe enough to I don't think we were able to safely make sure all these were safety use, so they had to stop production and just like change them all out with fucking fake guns, or like half the guns.
Oh, just to be
hundreds
certain?
and hundreds of guns. Yes, just to be safe. Things like that. So what happened in this Alec Baldwin set is that, you know, it's a perfect storm. Shitty production, non-union, demands. The assistant director team, as it came out, were notoriously unsafe.
Yeah, it wasn't the first AD. So the first AD basically is running the set. They're the ones who are saying action and telling everybody when they're moving, like to do different setups. And this person, I like read up about him too. Like he had gotten in trouble on a previous show for gun safety.
Yes.
And like that was already in his history, and now here he is again.
And this person handed Alec Baldwin a gun saying that it was cold, which meant that there was no live rounds in it, no blanks. Mm-hmm. Alec Baldwin, rehearsing his scene, whipped out his gun, and when he was firing it, and then I guess he pulled it out of his holster and it fired, and it shot the cinematographer and the director who were at the monitors beside him.
Yeah, went through the cinematographer and then hit the director.
Yeah. Which is insane. They should have had plexiglass. They should have had, you know what I mean? There should have been.
Well, that's the part that I'm not sure that has come out yet, but it's like, was he aiming it right at them?
Well, here's the thing.
It's extremely unsafe.
What has come out is that it was not only was it not a blank live round, it was an actual live round.
What? Really?
Yes. Here's the fucked up thing. Somebody brought bullets to the set and they were shooting cans at lunch.
Insane. Because that's also a huge no-no for safety on set, is that no live rounds are supposed to be on a movie set. That's actually a rule.
Yeah.
So for them to be doing that, shows the total lack of like seriousness and safety protocols on that set.
Yeah. It's fucked. And now somebody lost their life, and Alec Baldwin's fucking has to deal with killing somebody. It's fucking wild, man. It's wild. This is why there's a whole debate of just having VFX blanks or VFX shots.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Okay, so after that debate started, because I'm sure it's talked about all the time, but this is a very prime situation to bring that conversation up again. I remember thinking like, oh, I kind of like to see the flash bang and like the jerk of the trigger, because it's also about like recoil on a gun, like naturalistic. Because if you're like doing VFX stuff, you have to jerk the gun yourself, and it's going to probably look goofy. But I was like thinking I kind of don't want that to go away for some reason. But then I was like really thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? If someone had two movies back to back and showed me two gunfights, and one was VFX and one wasn't, I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. You know, like it just only like the idea of it is something I want, but like in the reality of it, it's like it makes no difference whatsoever. So it makes more sense to be safe, is what I'm saying, I guess.
Facts.
Yeah.
Well, dude, and think about this. The argument against like realistic guns, it's such bullshit, because think about fighting and think about swordplay. Both those things are theatrical. Like the whole fighting, like nobody fights. Nobody's like, I want to see a realistic fight, because guess what? A realistic fight does not look good on the big screen.
Yeah.
And we just don't know. We you know, when we see people fight, it's choreographed and we've accepted it. We know it's not. That's not even when they go into like an octagon or a boxing ring and fight, like fake box and fake punch. It's still fucking. It looks fake. Swords. We know, like swords, like sword swings. I watched the Last Duel with which I highly recommend. It flopped, but I think it's really one of Ridley Scott's best movies to come out recently. Mm-hmm. When they were showing the medieval combat, they did it in huge detail to look realistic, where it was like, guys, you know, a guy gets like fucking punched, and then it wasn't like a crazy anime sword swing where a guy like swings and or punches through steel armor. He literally like punched the guy down and then like grabbed his handle and like managed to like slit his throat, and it looked like brutal, and you're just like, holy fuck. You're like, oh, that's what like medieval, like actual sword combat was probably so insane and just brutal that you have to just show little bits to like, that's a realistic part. You can't just have guys just like, I'm swinging my sword and I'm fencing everybody, and then I'm stabbing straight into somebody's steel plate, which is obviously there so that wouldn't happen. Like a sword can't go through.
Do that.
Yeah. Or fighting, right? We all know, like look at all the good fight. Jackie Chan, he's an opera guy. He's from the fucking Hong Kong opera.
It's all ballet shit.
It's all ballet shit. So why do we have to have realistic guns?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly what I came to. I was just like, when I was trying to defend it mentally, I was like, wait a second. If someone actually showed me a couple and didn't tell me, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. You know what I mean? Like,
you watch a Commando and Arnold is just mowing guys down with a fucking machine gun, or a rifle. Like, who cares? Westerns are based off of Kurosawa samurai shit anyways. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all those gun duels, like people used to have gun draws, but it wasn't as big. Because if you think about it, if you're gonna murder somebody in the Wild West, you're probably just gonna be like, "Hey, motherfucker, boo!" You know what I mean? Like,
you're not gonna have like honor or something,
No.
Like,
But we've gotten used to these gunfights, anyways, being these things, and so the gunfights itself are unrealistic. They're based off of fucking Akira Kurosawa's, probably theatrical interpretations of fucking samurai warfare. Yeah. So it's not even realistic to begin with. So who the fuck cares?
And this came at a crazy time because it's like, as you're saying, like IATSIE in America has been like going on strike to renegotiate, and it was about sort of this kind of stuff, like basically safety and stuff like that. And then to have this happen in the middle of that negotiation, like I'm not going to say it's a good thing because it's like the loss of life, you know what I mean? But it's like it's just a very poignant moment where you're just like, okay, see, there's a very real situation that just happened. And it's like, this is exactly what we're talking about. Like, and it's sad that it had to be a person's life, but it's like that. How can you deny that at that point? How could the producers deny that? For anyone out there listening who actually is interested in what people go through, it's mostly America centric, but you should follow IA stories on Instagram.
And IA members. And IA members as well.
Yeah. IA stories, IA members. And it's basically the IA stories one, at least, is like people, I guess it's both the same. It's like people who work in the industry talking about their experience and what kind of crazy shit has been asked of them, and then you'll actually get an understanding of how these movies get made. Because like until I started working in film, it was like this magical, fun kind of camp thing that everyone's having a blast on these things, just making these movies. But then the reality of it is just like grueling labor and like unsafe conditions, and it's actually like opened my eyes to that whole like, and that's just something that most of us consume on a daily basis with these streaming sites. It's like entertainment is the number one. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but they just go down. Like, exactly. It's grueling. And like, for example, I worked on Friday, and this is kind of what I think got me sick. I worked 2 nights back to back, like overnights.
And that means working till like 4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah, like we had to work. I started at 4 p.m. in a studio for no fucking reason on Friday. Yeah. There's no reason why we're not doing night shots outside. It's just bad planning. And they wanted us to work overnight and then drive, from Deep Langley, half an hour into town on the fucking highway, in the middle of the fucking night. It was brutal, man. But it's
an insane industry. And I hope that like this helps their case and then that trickles down to Canada, because again, that is just America.
It will. And we have like Canada, the whole thing is we have like safe harbor clause. So like we've given these production companies almost like we've told them like, look, if you guys go on strike in LA, we'll finish productions here. We're not tools down. We'll finish the production.
Yeah.
And then there just won't be any work because they'll be on strike. So we can't cross the lines, but I know, but it's wild, man. And like, speak on what you said, creatively, I think it argues not just for our livelihoods and our safety, but like, I mean, these big media people and these Netflix, it's great that they greenlight things. And there's a lot of benefits, I think, to just letting smaller productions go. But what they're doing is they're also, if you cut costs, like these are artistic things that are made by skilled people. So if you don't have, skilled production designers and skilled cameramen and skilled lighting people and skilled, skilled props people, that's what a lot of the thing is, that what makes your movie look really good.
Are you talking about like non-union, or what do you mean?
No, union. I mean, if you guys, if they cheap out and nobody wants to work, if they're cutting out the unionized people, if they're cutting out the people, not to say non-union people aren't skilled, but I mean, like, if you're not willing to hire or put money and passion and time into your project to look good, you're going to have these just cookie cutter Netflix shows that look like shit. You might as well just have
in some ways, I feel like that's what they want. They're just like, okay, here's a bit of money, and then we have content on our site, so make some cheap trash for us. I mean, that's almost Vancouver's entire industry is like making the cheap trash that's on TV and on Netflix. You know what I mean?
And we make good stuff. We do have the shit. We're
the majority. Yeah, but I'm just saying, and that's not even a bad thing. It's like they're just churning out product. You know what I mean? Like Riverdale,
well, that's what I mean.
And like Sabrina and all these things. It's like they need the Good Doctor. I mean, I was the other day I was like watching TV with my family, and every commercial is like the Good Doctor on at 9 p.m. was like a show that was filmed in Vancouver. Like all the TV trash was like filmed in Vancouver. I was like, oh shit, I know someone who worked on that. But it's like I'm not even shitting on it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's good for the industry because it keeps people employed. But it's just like I think the way that they greenlight these projects, they're not trying to make special things. They're just trying to make stuff that's on, you know, like that.
But what it's fucked though, because at the end of the day, this is art. Like we still need to things still need to look good. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, like we were talking about just before this. It's like they don't give enough time to have like people like a major issue, like you're saying, is turnaround time on for the IA like negotiations. Is basically you're just working like 15 hours, like a little more, around that, you know, or 14 maybe. That's just not like there's no longevity in that. That just kills you. 5 days of that,
Well, they don't. If you rush a product, I mean the product won't look good. Like I'm not saying everything has to be an Oscar thing, but things have to be enjoyable.
Yeah,
you're losing the part that the reason why people like movies and TV and the movie or why we got into it is because you watch something like Aliens or the Blues Brothers or Jurassic Park or you know what I mean, or Star Wars, and I mean you fall in love with that. You fall in love with how it looks,
Yeah. Those are like kind of passion projects. It feels like there's like kind of like two tiers almost. There's people who are like visionaries and have like a passion, and then there's people who just are like workers, like on an assembly line. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think it's just hard to have. What it's shown is that it is hard to be that. It is hard to make the shit you want. I think everybody's trying to do their passion, but I mean, like you're just going through the motions. Do you know what I mean? Like I work with I work with DPs who are great, but I mean, they might not even care that much about the product, but they care about how it looks, or you know what I mean? Like when I worked on The Stand, the DP was fucking like art. Like The Stand it's one of the most viewed things on Paramount. It's a flawed series, huge stars, huge money, but the art, like how, like my job, my department, and what we were kind of under the umbrella of. Honestly, I think we made it look really good. So like at least I could say from my perspective,
you're happy with it.
It looked good, Even like I worked on The Terror season 2, and I mean I didn't do the cinematography. The Terror is, I think, a really decent horror series. The first one was in the Arctic. It did the Franklin expedition. The second one I worked on was all about the internment camps and trauma and bringing old world traumas into the new world and how they intersected in World War II. But the sets and the set, like it looked fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, well, you know what? At least this looks fucking great. Like that's fucking cool. Like, all the money went into the fucking how it looked, and it looked great. So
this is the crazy thing, and I think this becomes like for anyone who stays in the industry long enough, they get into a weird mental kind of like battle where it's like sometimes when you work a whole show, and a show could be like 3 to 6 months, it wears you down, and it makes you feel like fuck this, I never want to do this again. And then you take a break from it, and then if you come back, you're actually like, I miss this. This is actually kind of fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the wacky lifestyle is like kind of carny life. You're always like packing up and moving somewhere else and meeting a whole new group of people and stuff. It's like that all is very enticing, but sometimes it could wear you out like so hard that you're like, I can't even do this shit anymore. But then like, you miss it. You miss it when it's gone.
Oh, I know, dude. I think the trick of that is to just go. That's why you just go out. You save your money. But then you have to put money away and then just go on vacation. Go fucking,
Yeah, on your downtime. Because, like, man, this is the most downtime I've ever had in a job for my entire life.
And isn't it nice not being on like, we're talking about guys killing each other on set, but isn't it nice not working a fucking office job, dude?
A million times. I would never go back to that after this. Like even if you're like
taste of the poison and you're like,
well, that's
I can't go back.
Yeah, it kind of sucks you in because it's like I know I'm basically working 2 weeks in 1 week. Like you're working 75 hours maybe on average in 1 week. which is ridiculous. Like
which
even when
ridiculous.
I worked in an office and I could barely do 7 hours. I was like losing my mind 7 hours a day. But the way that the work
but
is
when
different,
you're eating smoke on set, bro, when you're one of the smoke eaters and you're fucking
exactly, talking to the shadow
smoke
benders,
hanging out with the shadow benders.
But yo, like that's the weird thing about this job is that it's a rush go. Like you just basically stand around and talk and like chit chat with people, and then all of a sudden they're moving shots. So now everyone's active and everyone's like running around. You're doing your job, and then you stop. They start filming, and then you just chit chat again. It's like, you know what I mean?
It's
like
fucking wild.
It's awesome. I find that awesome because you're getting paid. The only
Same.
thing is that your time is being like kind of like taken from you a little bit because you're just there for so long. You know.
Well, I got asked to work on this Saturday. I'm taking Friday off because I'm like I need to fucking take, and I'm taking tomorrow because I'm sick, ironically. But they're like, okay, there might be like we're gonna have a second unit day on Saturday, and it doesn't count as a 6-day pay. And everybody, basically all the main guys in my crew were just like, nope, fuck that. Yeah, they got half of us got kids.
Day calls.
Yeah, we're like, get day calls. Get like there's one eager guy, some keener that we work with who was like, I'll do it, and we're like, great. Yeah. I'm like,
it's good to have those boundaries, man. Like,
that's the thing. But I felt guilty at first. I'm like, well, I'm like, no, fuck that shit. I need my days off, man. I'm doing podcast. You're coming here. Yeah, do you know what I mean? We're gonna have a great episode. It's like, dude, I need mark time. I'm not gonna give the reason why I give myself on the weekdays, and like what you said, give up your time is so on the weekends I can actually do something I want to do.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't give a shit about you. So it's not like if you like, okay, I will do that, and I'm gonna look really good in their eyes, and I'm like a real good worker, and I care. It's like they don't see that. They just see like a body doing something, and they don't care as long as it could be anyone. You know what I mean?
It could be anyone.
Yeah. So good for you for putting those boundaries, because I think a lot of people don't. They like choose to work longer hours, or they just go from job to job, and they don't take the proper rest.
Or they're scared to say no.
Yeah. Well, I worked with someone on my last show, that special effects, who's like, yeah, I work when my boss calls me because I could get replaced. And I'm like, I don't know if that's entirely true, because, like you have a relationship, like you could maybe stop one show and come back for another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not like you're fully going to be just erased from the industry, but
yeah. And your boss should understand. Like if he said, can you come in? You're like, hey man, like I'm good. Cause then you just sacrifice that's when you get divorces. All these guys.
Yeah.
Like
this guy's married with 2 kids.
Yeah.
It's like you want that to lead to a divorce because you're never around. Yeah, exactly. It's a trippy industry, and I really hope that that negotiation down south goes well. And
they came back. It was bullshit. They had a negotiation, and it was fucking bootlicker. And the IATSIE members were like, "Fuck you, we're not accepting this." To their leadership, which they should have. And the leadership got bitchy. It's like, "No, fuck you guys. You're only there to fight for us." So
yeah. Because this is like I would stay. I mean, I constantly think this. I've only been in 1 year, and I'm like, I don't know if I could do this as a career because these hours are just too fucking insane. Like I want to have a relationship, like I want to have my own personal life, and it's just if you go full blast into it, it's just consumes your entire life, and I don't want that to happen. Yeah. But I do actually love it. Like I love it when I'm working. Dude. I'm enjoying myself for the most part.
I want to do this if this means I can go to Europe for fucking three months, which I'm planning to do, and not work. Do you know what I mean? Then
well, I mean, again, the benefit of this working super hard is like camp work. You just go in deep, and then you have chunks off. Like this year I had 4 months off, and when I worked in an office, for 1 year I had 2 weeks off that I had to like spread out throughout the year, and I'm like, what the fuck? I can't never go back to that. I had 4 months off this year.
I know. I had like almost a month off. I had like 3 weeks off. And then I went and worked on that Harry and Meghan shit, which got roasted on Jesus and Mero.
Good.
And then I had like another fucking like 2 months off, basically.
Yeah.
Like I had like basically all of June off. So I took like a whole month off. And then I was working second units. Ugh. I love this summertime though, when you pick up like the half shit where you get paid to test, and then you work like 2 days a week.
Yeah,
and you're just chilling. Oh,
yeah. Make it so I could keep working in this industry. Damn it.
Yeah, just protect yourself, guys.
Make it happen.
You gotta protect yourself. Even though I think people that listen to this aren't working in the film, but.
Well, even for those who ever thought about it, like usually it's one of those weird things that you need like someone to get you in. It's like a weird, definitely slightly nepotistic where you're just like, I know a guy, and then you're in. Like I met a lot of people in higher positions than when I started that were just like someone's friend.
Yeah.
And there's like, man. Which is chill, whatever. I mean, if that works for you, that's cool.
Life. That's life, bro. Nepotism is life.
Yeah, for anyone who's like ever considered it, I feel like you should give it a shot, especially if you live in Vancouver
Talk to me.
Or Victoria.
Yeah, if you guys want to be a PA and just pick up trash for fucking 16 hours a day
and talk and eat
talk
food
to Mark.
For free.
Yeah, talk to Mark or Chris and we'll get you in. How about that?
Yeah, because it's definitely worth a try.
Yeah, exactly. We've gotten friends in. They didn't go anywhere.
You got me in, and now look at me, man. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, you're a smoke eater.
I'm a smoke eater now.
Yeah, dude.
I'm not a garbage picker.
This is crazy. What a crazy time. And you know what? It occupies, because I mean, what else are you going to be doing, guys? Let's be honest. It's November. November. Well, that's it sucks.
Too. Yo, this is what I was thinking after last year. I was like, yo, I would gladly work like October to like maybe February, March.
Yeah,
just go hard because that's
March.
Like winter. That's winter.
March sucks
right?
still.
Yeah, and then it's like, what else am I going to do? Just sit in my house and it's raining. Like I'm like not doing anything. So then I could just work that and take the summer off, or take the whole spring, summer, early fall off.
The winter sucks, dude. It's literally an atmospheric river right now, dumping. Outside, and
you might as well be working, just making that bank,
dude.
Going
November's the worst month. November is the worst. Let's just agree. November's the shit month.
Yeah.
Never what holiday do you have? Remembrance Day.
The gloomiest holiday.
The most depressing. Yeah, dude. I honor my grandpa who fought in the war, but like let's examine Remembrance Day. They're like, hey, here's a fucking generational trauma that most of the world has experienced by like war, which is this ceremony is saying how terrible it is.
Yeah.
And then let's just go back to war. Let's just keep doing war though. Like it's such a weird thing. Like,
you mean like continuing to have wars after that?
Yeah. The fact that Remembrance Day didn't end at like fucking like World War II, like that was the last war where we should be fucking. Nick, don't get me wrong. Like I, support people who fight and support them when they come home, and like because they deal with a lot of fucking trauma and mental health issues.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, well, why are we still sending guys out to fight? They're protecting our
knowing
freedoms.
That,
no, they're
knowing
not.
That, yeah, I know.
Like
that's almost a podcast on its own, man. I think war is a very archaic idea by this point with the way communication works. It's like so blunt and primitive. It feels like. Because I could understand if it was like hard to communicate before, but now you could always just pick up a phone. Like you could easily work something out,
Yeah, and we fetishize it, man. We fucking are like, remember the valiant people. It's like, you know what, like World War I or World War II actually was like. That's trauma. Like living in a fucking mud trench, having rats eat your toes, and if you pop your head up, you're just gonna die. Having to accept that you're gonna just die and get murdered by somebody else.
Yeah, dude,
for no fucking reason.
Like being in the front of one of those boats on D-Day.
Yeah,
you just know you're like a human shield. Like
it's insane.
It's kind of messed up.
And then people this is why I hate. This kind of goes to the Alec Baldwin thing, which is kind of a mess. Like we like Civil War reenactors or World War II reenactors. It's like that shit's so fucked. Like, why would you want to reenact and like dress up like people just experiencing like the worst thing as a male, like as a person you could probably ever experience?
That's like if they like had like an amusement park type place where they recreated every like horrific thing that happened on film.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why am I
here? Why don't we just recreate all the accidents
on film? Here's all the stuff that happened on sets of film reenacted. Yeah. You like to see that? No.
And you don't reenactors are not like, oh, it's terrible. And this, like imagine being 16 years old in the Civil War and fucking seeing your best friend. Yeah. Are we the baddies? Seeing your best friend fucking get bayoneted in the gut and him screaming, looking into your fucking pupils.
Even you just saying that is horrifying.
Like, yeah, man.
Like I'm like imagining it. I'm like, come on, man. Damn it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then people are like, well, that's what I like to dress up as on the weekend and go out with my buddies.
That actually reminds. Okay, like when I thought about that whole shit with the camera crew walking off. So I'm guessing that the DP on this movie with Alec Baldwin had to man the camera because the whole camera crew walked off set.
It was her at another. I think one other operator stayed maybe.
But it's basically her there too, doing something that she shouldn't have done, basically, right? So like I was thinking like, man, that camera crew avoided death. Like it could have easily been them. Like if they hadn't walked off because of the safety concerns, then they themselves would have been the ones who were shot and killed. You know what I mean? Like,
and she stayed because of her ego. She stayed because of the Hollywood ego of like, my career is ruined if I fucking walk off an Alec Baldwin set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
she chose that.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
It's fucked.
Do you think I said this joke to you before, but do you think it's like Final Destination now? Like camera crew is going to get slowly picked off by death?
No,
because they avoided death.
Did we just write a script synopsis?
I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing. That's not funny, but
dude, that's I would feel like that. Imagine that though. Imagine that fucking gut wrench where you're like, well, I chose right, but my boss who I was friends with fucking died. She chose to stay and she died.
That's it. That guilt that you would feel in a weird way too.
Dude,
like they must be going through that.
If I was a camera crew, I would have fucking went down to the production office and just with a fucking brick and a fucking sack and just hit everybody in that production office over the head with it.
Jesus. Yeah. Well,
like I would
have. They're getting that now with the media, maybe a little bit. I don't know. And this is the cynical me, but I feel like none of them will truly ever feel any kind of they're sociopaths, man. No, but they wouldn't even feel any repercussions from that. To be real,
no,
they're just going to continue on making the movies, and
they blame the AD. The AD, they blame people. And, dude, it's fucked. Like I think it was like the costume designer came on and was like defending the set, and it's just like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Like you're not even on set. You're fucking designing fucking cowboy boots.
Also, how can you defend this set when all evidence points to it being bad?
It's ego.
Like, why even come out? Yeah, you look like a fool, though. You look like a fool.
Yeah, but there's people like that in the industry, bro.
Yeah.
Snakes, dude.
Well, this is the industry we work in. Doesn't it trip you out?
The shadow benders. Yeah, I know, dude. But I mean, that's everything, though, man. That's if we went and worked for fucking BC Ferries Corporate, it'd be the same.
That's true. Thing. No, you're right.
Like my mom talks about that shit, right? Because she dealt with union stuff. She was a shop steward and a vice president for QP. And everybody's there's fucking snakes in the grass everywhere you go, man.
That's very true.
Bootlickers. It's bootlickers.
Yeah, we were the shadow benders, the flame eaters,
the smoke eaters. Yeah, I guess you are a flame eater too.
Flame eater, yeah. And then we got the bootlickers.
Then we got the bootlickers, the enemy, the bootlickers. What are the PAs?
They're the backbone, yo.
They are the backbone, actually. They are.
Like, they keep the whole shit running, like where you are, at least. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I'm never going to hate on a PA. Though, dude. I have found that once I moved to, like, special effects, and I've been, like, eating something and looking around, there's no garbage. I'm like, where's the fucking garbage? You know, like, that's just like anyway, sorry, that's an insider thing.
I know, it's just like yeah,
these
fucking locations,
but
guys.
Then I just tone it down because I don't want to be one of those guys that goes up a level and then shits on the one below me. Like, you ever watch The Platform, man? Yeah. On Netflix, watch The Platform. Pretty good. Anyway.
Oh, fuck. Well, that's our fucking... Do we have time to talk about Kanye?
No, next time.
Next time,
yeah. We wanted to address... I know you want to address the Alec Baldwin thing because that's our industry. Yeah, so we have to talk about that, you know? Yeah. So
I know, and I feel like it's cooled off, but I'm kind of glad we talked about it with more stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of just ranting, because I think I would have just ranted a lot more.
I know. I was kind of worried you're going to get on a soapbox and be like, this is what's wrong with the... And I was like,
I would have a week ago.
It's worth talking about, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's super... That was like shocking and like sad and a symptom of what's wrong with the industry. So, I mean, it's really good.
Well, I hope I sounded okay. I hope I'm not too nasally. Give us your feedback.
Fine. You're
Simon. Tell us how I sound, Simon.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going back to heaven. Where are you going back to? Your hospital bed?
I'm gonna go take a dip in the fucking Fraser bed. I'm gonna go fucking anally inject a bunch of Benadryl and fucking swan dive off the fucking SkyTrain bridge behind me.
Right into a little inflatable raft.
Oh, right into the river. I'm gonna ride a sturgeon into the sunset.
Yeah, boy.
All right.
All right. Peace out, y'all.
Peace.